Hello everyone. I think it's lunchtime. I think I am not. I will not bore you guys. So, welcome to the meetup and my talk on VMware VM migration from VMware to CloudStack and KVM. So little about me. So I am Suresh, and I started CloudStack contribution since 2015, and I am a committer at CloudStack. Was a release manager for 4.16.1 release, and will be serving as an RM for 4.19.1, the upcoming release. And I am working at Shea Blue as a software architect, and I am based out of Hyderabad, a local guy. So that's about me. And coming to the agenda, I will take you through little introduction about the migrations which are recently introduced in 4.19 release, and then in details on how VMware migration process is being done in CloudStack, and then some of the use cases about KVM ingestion and the future work on them, and we'll go take through the demo as well and few references, and we can do a Q&A at the last. Now pre 4.19, so CloudStack was supporting import and export instances for VMware. So that is the sample screenshot you can see there. So it was only for VMware where it can where one can manage or unmanage the instances from CloudStack, whereas as earlier talks Abhishek was mentioning about the prime features which was introduced in 4.19 in the recent 4.19 release. One is VMware migration to KVM, and the other is VM ingestion. So both functionalities will introduce a capability to migrate instances from external VMware workloads or any KVM workloads on any other infrastructure to CloudStack in a KVM cluster. So if you check the VMware, we can import instances from external vCenter or the managed vCenter within CloudStack. For KVM, we can import from external KVM hosts or from within CloudStack managed storages. If we have any disk images in local storage or shared storage within CloudStack, then we can import a VM from that as well. Now going in details about VMware migration. So in order to migrate a instance to CloudStack in a KVM cluster, so KVM host should have specific requirements, and so these are the requirements. So the KVM host needs to have this V2V binary, so which has to be installed, and this is being used for the conversion process from VMware to KVM. And for Ubuntu instances, an additional NBD kit is required, and for Windows guest VMs, we need a Vertio Win. So these packages needs to be installed on the KVM host for the conversion part. So now going on to the actual migration process. It is done in 3 stages. Before migration, we actually do a discovery of the source instance. So we will get all the details about compute, network, and the disk details, and then prepare the instance for migration. Like we do clone of the instance, so we don't touch exact VMware instance and we clone the disks, and then the migration is started. So, in the migration, for the migration, CloudStack delegates this to one of the KVM host, which uses the wet V2V binary for the conversion process. So, it does the conversion from VMDK to the KVM disk files, and then it do the copy, and once the copy is done, the deployment and importing the instance to CloudStack is being done by the management server. And then post migration, whatever the clone has been created before the migration, that will be deleted from the VMware vCenter, and the result of the import will be a stopped VM, and then you have to go there and start the VM, so that it will pick any of the KVM host and it will be deployed there. And these are the two new APIs introduced as part of this functionality. One is list VMware DC VMs, so which will list all the VMs of a data center in external VMware vCenter, and import VM is the actual API which does which initiates the import process. Okay, so this migration can be used as one of the alternative for VMware migration. I know in the recent times there were some changes in the VMware after the acquisition. And lot of people are looking for migrating their VMware workloads to some other alternate. So, this using this functionality, you can migrate the VMware workloads to a KVM cluster in CloudStack. And yeah, so this is the actual migration process. So, so the initial prerequisites is the management server should able to connect to VMware vCenter, and the underlying KVM host which is doing the conversion should also able to connect to the VMware vCenter and the host. And so, from the management server, when we initiate a import operation, it first clones the source VM on the VMware, then we send a request to convert the cloned VM. So, this is sent to KVM host, and the wet V2V binary initiate the conversion process. So, after the conversion process, this conversion process needs a temporary storage. We can either select secondary storage or primary storage or local storage if enabled, and the converted disks will be stored in the temporary location, and then after conversion is done, the actual files will be copied to the destination storage pools, whatever the storage pools management server picks up for the deployment. And then management server gets the information related to the conversion, and then it puts the data, import data into the database. So, this is how the conversion is done in the CloudStack. And so, the vert V2V command which is being which is being run in the KVM host, this is the command. So, the options are we pass a URL for the vCenter, and the clone VM name which is cloned in the vCenter, and then the password file. The process will create a temporary password file with the vCenter credentials, and it passes to the command, and then the storage mount point, it can be a secondary storage, primary, or the local storage based on the selection, and output will be QCOW2, and output file prefix is the file name with which the disk disks are created. So, so this is the example you can see here. It has vSphere credentials, VMware vCenter credentials, and the password file, and the mount point of the storage, and output file prefix which is mentioned there in the command. And so this is the sample log snippet how the process, the conversion process is done by wet V2V. In order to get this log, so you can see this log in KVM host. In order to get this log, you have to enable a configuration in agent.properties in the KVM host. Then you can see the in detail progress of the conversion. So you can see here in the first part, it connects to the source. I think it connects to the source and it captures all the details, and then it starts copying the disk. So I think this was initiated at around 2:03, and the copying is initiated at 2:22. So the conversion part took around 20 minutes here. Okay, and the next is you can see the progress here, the progress of copy, and the copy is completed at around 2:33, and then after the copy is done, the complete process completed at around 2:33. So the complete process took 33 minutes. So this log is for a VM with 3 GB. So it one disk of 3 GB took 30 minutes for the conversion. So this is the time which we are focusing on to decrease in the next upcoming release, so that the migration will be faster for the VMs with larger disk sizes. And yes, so for this conversion process in 4.19, migration tool was introduced in the GUI. So that provides a facility to select a VMware data center through the credentials, and you can specify either it is a existing vCenter which is managed by CloudStack, or it's an external vCenter, and then you can see all list of VMs within the data center, and then you can select any of the instance, and then you can start the import process. So the import process, the CloudStack delegates to one of the KVM host, which again starts through wet V2V. So this is how the migration tool works. So this is the configuration I am talking about. So in order to see the complete wet V2V logs in the KVM host agent logs, you have to enable this setting, wet V2V verbose enabled. So if you set this to true, by default this is false. You cannot see all the detailed progress of the conversion, but in order, if you want to see that, you have to enable this and restart the agent in the host. And coming to the management server settings introduced. So as the conversion is taking a long time, so for the conversion process a timeout configuration was introduced, which is defaulted to 8 hours. So if this conversion timeout is basically for wet V2V process to timeout. In case it doesn't happen within the timeout, then the operation will be failed. So we have tested with a couple of KVM hosts and some guest VMs. So this is from our observation. So this is what the support versions we have listed, and the migration the completely depends on wet-V2V binary support. So it is up to the wet-v2v support for the guest OS or the Linux distribution of the KVM host. If there is any issue in the conversion, then the CloudStack will report the failure and the migration will be failed. So, and for now the guest VMs for Linux VMs running and stopped are supported. For Windows only stopped are because a VM should be gracefully stopped. So Linux CloudStack, if it is a running VM, CloudStack triggers a graceful shutdown command, and for Windows it should up to the user to do a graceful shutdown and then initiate the migration. And coming to the next VM ingestion. So we can ingest VMs from either external host, or we can import from disks in local or shared storage managed by CloudStack. So the requirements for the external host are, it should run libv2v, and the listen underscore TCP should be enabled, so that CloudStack KVM agent can connect, KVM can connect to the external host, and the import process is similar to the VMware migration. It is done in 3 phases. One, it discovers the properties of the VM, and it does conversion, disk conversion to QCOW2 using QEMU image, and then it will copy using SCP, and then it will deploy and update the DB with the details, and post deployment any temporary files it created, it will clean that. And the new API introduced here is list VMs for import. So it will connect to external KVM host, and then it will list all the stopped VMs in that KVM host. Import unmanaged instance is to manage and unmanage the KVM instances, which was introduced in 4.19 for KVM, and import VM is to import from the disk QCOW2 from shared or local storage. So coming to the conclusion and future work. So the ultimate goal for this migration process is to keep the disks and networking details as it is, and the migration for VMware requires V2V and other dependencies for like Ubuntu hosts or Windows guest VMs, and the results are always depend on wet V2V support. It depends on the guest OS which is to be migrated, and on the KVM host distributions. So the future work now we are focusing on to minimize the migration time. So some POCs we have done, and using the local copy within the KVM host, it seems we have improved a bit on the migration time. So it reduces a lot of migration time. We can either move the VMDK disks to KVM before initiating conversion with wet V2V. It can be done to 3 ways, either like a CP command or URL download, or using wet V2V copy to local binary. So we are exploring other options also, what are the other ways to minimize the migration. And the other one is now currently CloudStack doesn't have the ability to detect which KVM host has the supported binaries to convert from a VMware instance to KVM. So that will be added in the upcoming releases, and any updates or any dependency package updates will be included in the next release. And for KVM ingestion, data volume import is currently not supported. So, this will be included in the upcoming release. So, if you have any thoughts or any suggestions on the migration, you can post your thoughts on GitHub discussions or issues, or you can email. Yeah, I think demo time. It's not coming. Yeah, you can see. So, I have a CloudStack infrastructure here, and I have 2 KVM hosts here, and I have a vCenter here. So, I will select one of the VM here. The disk, you can see, the disk is 2 GB, and it has adapter. So, now I can go to the tools here, import and export tools, and then here you can select the source as VMware. So, in order to migrate existing VMs to KVM, you can select the existing VM, existing vCenter in your infrastructure. If you have any vCenter VMware cluster already, you can select here. So, here I do not have any existing data center within this zone. So, I will select external vCenter. So, I will just go here. So, you have to give the, yeah. So, you have to give the data center here. So, the data center name is Trillion. So, I will give, for now I will give invalid name, and so let me list. I have given an invalid data center name. Let me see what happens. So, it said it couldn't find the Trillion. So, I will give the correct name. Yeah, so you can see here. So, all my VMs which are on the data center are listed here. So, now you can select any VM, and then, so I am selecting this VM here, and then you can say import instance. I can say imported, and you can give any host name and the domain, and you can give, if you have any project, you can give the project, and the selecting a KVM host for converting is optional. Currently CloudStack doesn't have ability to auto detect host. So, if you have some host with conversion capability, which means the dependencies were installed in that. So, here I have 2 hosts, you can see, right. So, I have 2 hosts here. So, this is KVM 1, I have Vert V2V installed here, right, and this is KVM 2, and here Vert V2V is not there. Okay. So, first let me select KVM 2 instance and show you what happens. So, and then we have to select a compute offering, and then you can see the network adapter here and the vCenter here. It captured the network details, and you can see that here, and you have to map the appropriate network for the new host. Now I say import here. Never. So it started import on KVM 2. So here, here you can see it said the binary is not found, right? So the binary is not found. So now let me select the instance where the binary is there. We'll select the same again. Now the binary is in KVM 1, and there is another option to select the second temporary storage where you want to keep the temporary files which are created in the process of migration. So it can be either secondary storage or primary storage or local storage. If local storage is enabled, you can see the local storage option here. So now the default is secondary storage, so I am keeping it as it is. Now small instance mapping is done, so I am clicking OK. So now I initiated the process here. So you can see what happened. First it clones a VM here, right, and it uses this clone for the conversion. I will show the conversion command also here. Yeah, you can see here. So the conversion is started, and if I tail, yeah, here you can see. So now it connected to the source instance, and it gets all the details of the instance here, and then it starts converting the disk. So yeah. As I have enabled that flag here, you can see the complete progress in the logs. So this will take about half an hour time. So I will go to the other demo. So for the sake of the entire process, I have recorded a video. I will show you that one. Yeah. So this. So here yes, so here you can see still it is converting, and it started copying from here. From you can see the percentage here, and you can see the copy progress. Once it's 100% is done, I will go to 100%. Yeah, it's 97. Yeah, so 100% is done. Once the disk copy is done, then the conversion process is done, and the word command will also be completed. Yeah, so that command is also not running now. And post conversion, it will delete the cloned VM in the vCenter. Yeah, this is the imported VM, and in the stopped state. bit. Yeah, so this is the imported VM which started, and I will show you. Yeah, so here this is where it is deleting the cloned VM. Okay. Yeah, I think that's all. So I think this process will continue for some time. So I will go to the next part of demo for VMware.
This one is only running root volume, right? I mean, it
Yeah. If we have data volume also, it will consider data volume, but it will take more time for the conversion and the movement. Yes. Now let me go to KVM. So KVM, we can manage unmanaged instances from 419. So also we can import an instance from remote host. We can give the credentials. So it will list all the instances from the host, all the stopped instances from the host, and you can import it. And if you have any local disk in the CloudStack-managed storages, you can do it. For this purpose of demo, I have created one image in the shared storage, so I will use that one. So here, okay, let it go. Yeah, so it is on primary one. Yeah, so the test volume I have created from a QEMU CentOS 5. So QEMU image info test volume.
You need to give full path.
No, it's not. Take 1 second.
Full MLT path, Suresh.
Not sure, it's not. Okay, see, it says some other volume. So I will use the same volume for the import here. Test volume. And you have to give some name, demo VM, KVM. Same as VMware, you can give a host name, domain, and the project, and you can not sure why it's showing up here. we will not be using wet v2v here, but I will select compute offering and a network. Oh, it's already in use. Okay, then let me create a one volume now.
Unmanage it and then import it.
Sorry?
You can unmanage and then import it?
Yes. Let me create a volume and from a snapshot. Test volume. Yeah, this is ready. It is on primary storage 1. This is the path, so I think I can use that one. Yeah, so this is the path I will use to import. I think I can rename this one.
second one, right?
Yeah. I created volume and now go to tools and say import and go to KVM QCO2 and then you have to give the path import instance demo VM. So I will pick as you have to select a compute offering and then you have to select the network. Okay, it says volume is in use. So I have recorded a video. I will can show that quickly for you. Yeah. So I think that volume is already been used. So I recorded a video earlier for the same. So you can select the volume here, the temporary, the test volume I have created, and import and give a name for the instance and select the offering and the network. Okay, yeah. So you have to give a name, select the compute offering and the select network, and then after everything is fine, you can ready to import the instance. Yeah, so it's created, and the imported instance will be in stopped state. You have to go and start there, and based on the host suitable, so it will start the VM there. Yes. Yeah, so the instance is imported. I think that's all. Yeah, so this is how the instance can be imported from a local disk in a shared or local storage. I think that's all about the demo. Yeah, that's all about the demo, and here there are some of the references of from the documentation in CloudStack and the feature PRs of 419 and some documentation for wet-v2v also, so you can refer to them. I think that's all. Questions? Any questions? Okay, is it visible? Not sure, the font is small.
Zoom in.
Not sure it's possible. Okay now?
This slide will be available later on.
Yeah, we will upload the slides, so you will get the details. Okay. Any question? Yeah.
Completing this migration process.
Yes.
Are you facing any performance kind of issues? How can you achieve that if you face any performance?
Performance kind of, it depends on the offering we selected. What kind of performance?
Application point of view or a database point of view, anything else? Data point of view.
I mean, after migrating from one kind to a different kind of.
Say in the VMware we choose some different CPU and the mem specs, but we choose a different mem specs in while migration. Say I have selected 512 MB memory there, and here I decreased to 256, then definitely there will be a performance impact. Also it depends. Yeah. Yes.
So it depends what is your, how you're measuring performance, right? So there are many benchmarking tools you can use. If it is this, you can use FIO. If it is compute, then you can use DeepFence, CLI or something else. Generally speaking, workloads on KVM tend to run slightly faster. Just because of the underlying technology, underlying hypervisor tends to run slightly faster. In fact, KVM crisp performance can also be optimized through IO Uring and through other optimizations. So even if it is the same storage, let's say you're using NFS, the underlying storage is same, but your compute performance can be improved slightly, even if it is the same hardware. Let's say VMware ASXi is on the same server spec as the KVM one, simply because you are running Linux, which tend to run slightly faster compared to. So that's an anecdotal evidence, right? The right way to do is you need to use some sort of standard tool, benchmarking tool against both, before and after.
Yeah.
Rohit, I read an article, in a university, somebody did this same exercise, and based on their results, KVM is faster.
KVM is the hardware, everything is same, right?
Yeah, everything. The standard benchmarking process they have documented. Some article you can find in I don't remember exactly, some university people.
Okay. Okay, any other questions? Okay. Thank you guys.